So unit 4, as I said, is very much a self-reflective unit, and there are two units which are part of this level, unit 4 and unit 6. We're going to look at unit 6 shortly, which really allow you to kind of go deeper and evaluate your own style of learning, your own style of performing, and how you could really be effective in your role based on everything that you're learning about yourself. So this level, level 4, will really help you to kind of expand your self-awareness when it comes to not only how you learn, but how you work effectively as a part of a team and what your strengths are, because this is going to then help you to not only perform better in your role, but also to really support learners depending on the role you've taken to really reflect on their performance as well. Okay, so now moving to unit 5, which is evaluate education and training provision. This unit is focused on understanding how we can evaluate the effectiveness and quality of the education and training that we have delivered, and how we could do that on an ongoing basis. Okay, so let's have a look at more detail. We are going to talk about quality assurance. I already spoke about quality assurance briefly, but during unit 5, we are going to explore quality assurance in much more detail. So what exactly is quality assurance? Briefly mentioning here, quality assurance involves the systematic review of educational provision to maintain and improve its quality, equity, and efficiency. So when it comes to quality assurance, we are not only looking into improving quality, but also equity and efficiency. When it comes to equity, that means that everyone has access to the training provision, and efficiency means that we are efficient as practitioners. Okay, so during unit 5, we are going to talk about the concept of quality assurance, and you're going to talk about different quality assurance models that we can use in order to effectively evaluate training and development. Of course, not only are we going to look at the different models of quality assurance, as I said, there is going to be an element of theory. So this level, there will be theory, but there will also be a lot of practical elements to this level as well that will then help you apply the theory in practical terms. So when it comes to quality assurance, we are going to talk about the different quality assurance methods that you can use, not only the models but also the different methods. Some of them are performance observation. It could also be assessments as well, and feedback. These are just some of the methods that are used quite frequently when it comes to assuring quality. And I can give you an example. For instance, let's talk about, I used to work a couple of years ago, I used to work in customer service, and I was responsible for supporting the customer service team deliver exceptional customer service, and I was supporting them from training and development perspective. So some of the things that we did, as I was overseeing the training and development function as a manager, some of the things that we did in order for us to ensure that our training provision was effective when we were training people how to deliver exceptional customer service, was to then allocate quality assurance team members to monitor people's interactions with customers. So we did that in a co-service environment where we could have people shadow other people, other team members' calls, and then they would take notes and evaluate the performance of those individuals that had attended the training and development programs that we had put together for them. So this is a really useful way to evaluate the effectiveness of training and development, especially in a more kind of practical way. So this is an example that I can give you from a role that I used to have in the field of learning and development. And what you'd often find is that those types of performance observation methods would then allow us to identify further development needs. Remember when we spoke about the training cycle, the very first stage is learning needs analysis. So identifying learning needs. So when it comes to performance observation, this not only allows to evaluate the effectiveness of a training program that we have designed and that we have delivered, but it also allows us to identify further learning needs. So it is quite a useful method when it comes to ensuring quality. Also, assessments, as I mentioned. We could host assessments, we could create tests, and we could facilitate those in order to ensure that the knowledge gaps that we were looking to fill are actually filled. And then, of course, feedback. So these are just some of the things that we're going to explore. And there will be also other methods that we're going to be talking about in order for us to really make sure that we as practitioners are evaluating the effectiveness of what we are delivering. Okay? So what other forms of performance evaluation, I would say perhaps training evaluation as well, methods are there? Of course, surveys. I decided to include that here because this is quite a popular way nowadays. Surveys, a lot of companies use surveys to kind of really evaluate the effectiveness of training and development programs. So you might have taken part in a survey yourself, but this is quite a popular tool that we're also going to cover. We're going to talk about how we create surveys, how we use them, and then how we use the data from surveys specifically in combination with feedback forms to evaluate the effectiveness of our training provision. So this level, this unit 5, will really give you quite a few practical tools that you can use, especially if you're already working in the field of learning and development. After completing this unit, you will be able to really apply what you're learning here as well, straight to your job. Okay. What else are we going to be covering during Unit 5? We are going to be talking about the organizational requirements that we as training and development practitioners should be always aware of, especially when we are designing and delivering training. We should always be aware of the main policies and procedures of the organization and ensuring that we are compliant with them as practitioners. Also, we should always pay attention to the code of conduct. Most companies have a code of conduct. Most companies have diversity and inclusion policies. And all of these policies and procedures, they are our guiding mechanisms when it comes to how we carry ourselves as training and development practitioners, the verbiage we use, our training delivery, and also what exactly we include in when we are designing training and educational programs as well. So something that we will be doing during Unit 5 is looking at like some of the policies and procedures that we might have in our current organizations and how they are shaping the learning and development function as well. Diversity and inclusion is quite a big topic, like here in the UK, and this is something that we're going to talk about as well. How do we ensure that we create an environment that is inclusive for all the learners? What are the key aspects that we should be paying attention to when we are delivering, in order to ensure that people within the learning environment feel included and everyone feels supported, irrespective of their background, irrespective of their race, and things like that. So there are quite a few factors that we should be considering as training and development practitioners as well. Policies, procedures, always that should be always something that we never skip. Okay, and then another thing that we should be paying attention to is the organizational culture. So this is something which is quite important, and I'm going to give you an example based on my personal experience as a trainer and the different places that I have worked at. For instance, I used to work, that was many years ago, I used to work in a five-star hotel, and I was responsible again for training and development. And I remember the culture was really formal. So we had to speak in a certain way, and when I was facilitating training, I was not allowed to use certain words because they were not supporting the brand. So there was a brand language that we had to use, and we were trained on that. So when I was designing and delivering all my content and all the training and development materials, I had to always think not only of the policies and the procedures, but also of the organizational culture and the verbiage that was appropriate of me to use in order to really adhere to the culture and to the values. So these are things which we should be thinking about and taking into consideration in our roles. So during Unit 5, we are going to be talking about the different factors that influence the not only the evaluation, but also the design and the delivery. So when you think about the whole training cycle and every stage, we should always be thinking about all these different factors here on the screen as well. So when it comes to evaluating education and training provision, once we have evaluated the effectiveness and the quality of what we have created, what we have delivered, we need to ensure that we're continuously improving. So during Unit 5, we're going to be talking about, again, how we can evaluate the quality and effectiveness of training and development programs, what methods we can use, what factors we should be taken into consideration throughout the training cycle, but also at the evaluation stage. And we are going to be talking about continuous improvement as well. So continuous improvement, what does this really mean? How are we continuously improving based on the feedback we have collected? So having taken the feedback into account, how are we analyzing it? And based on the analysis, based on the data, what improvements are we suggesting? Then we could put these improvements into proposals. We can communicate with the relevant stakeholders, and we can implement the proposed improvements. These improvements could be related to the content of the training and development program. They could be related to the evaluation of the training and development program, or they could be related to how we engage learners. Anything that we feel we could improve on so that our training and development provision could be much more effective and well received by our learners is what we are going to be focusing on as training and development practitioners to ensure consistency and continuous improvement. So this is where quality assurance comes in. So as I said, Unit 5 will be all about evaluation and how we do that. Unit 4, as I just said, it's all about how you plan, allocate, and monitor work in your own area of responsibility. And Unit 5 is all about evaluating education and training provision. So all these units that you see on the screen have been selected in a way that allows you to really work holistically on your own development within the field of training and education, but also learning the key tools and the key models and tools that you will need so that once you get that job that you want to secure, you can really succeed and ensure that you are effective in your role. So having said that, we're going to wrap up this overview session. I hope you found it useful. As I said, this is just a brief summary of the main things that we're going to be covering during level 4, but this level is going to include um, many more tools, many more theories. It is quite an expansive level that is going to give you a really good foundation of foundation of skills that you can then take with you into your new role, or if you already are in the new role, or if you already work within learning and development, this level is going to really help you to improve your skills and become more effective. So if you have any questions, you can direct them towards the UK Group of Education, and our team is here to support you.